And I have some pretty ugly lamps that I actually would like to repurpose. So I may put them in my vintage online store, or maybe I'll find them at home. Here, not too sure. But I love these soft tones, and they also go with the beautiful silk flowers, which have been handcrafted, and I bought from a beautiful lady in Australia. I'll actually try to source some more of those for my online shop. They're just really beautiful, and in keeping with things of old. The crystal beading is actually from America. I picked that up there. They're incredible as well. Yeah, so let's see what we can do with this. This is the lamp prior to me doing anything with them. They actually just looked really good quality, and I bought them at a brocante recently, but not my colour, so, or style, to be honest. The shade is quite small, but sort of cool. So let's see what we can turn these into. Another grey, rainy, cold day in my part of the world. If it's what you like in your home, then that's as it should be. You should have it. So I'll probably do some of those or source some of those. I'm keen to source other people's works, now handcrafted, because I don't have a lot of time to actually do this craft. It's just that there's a bit of noise going on and I can't edit today, or you know, I'm not really feeling it, so I'm just not doing it today, because I actually have to study. I don't have the faintest idea what I'm doing with these videos, so I'm learning. Ew, that's attractive. So obviously I don't know how to stamp either, but I presume that if you keep doing that, it'll turn something up. And there's a lesson learnt. No, that's not how it works. But I think with all of these things, you should just give it a go. Well, in my case, you probably should just move on. Because, no, wait a minute, it might work one day. I think what I did was put too much paint on the stamp. So let's try it. This one, which says Paris, is always a good idea. It absolutely is. Paris is just my happy place. I love to be in Paris. Don't want to live there anymore. It's changed a little, but I can't wait to be back there when things are back to their bubbling, vibrant self. And there's people in the streets and they're out enjoying food and wine and conversation and just living life. I remember sitting at the Arc de Triomphe one day waiting to get into my apartment because the key had been lost or something when we'd first arrived in Paris. And we actually sat in a park near the Arc de Triomphe and watched people all day. It was absolutely freezing, but it was one of the best days ever because we got to just be in that moment and see that people in Paris, which is such a vibrant, busy city, at lunchtime they stop and they played soccer for like 2.5 hours just in the little park. This whole group of businessmen took their suit coats off and just had an incredible time. And I think that's something we could all learn, just be in the moment, which is why the park arts will foster that ethos, and I want to embrace all types of art and craft. If it's something you enjoy doing and it evokes feelings of happiness and achievement, and you appreciate it in your home, or you just look at it, it makes you feel good, that's what we're all about. Yeah, so this is actually getting better. I'm not sure because I'm really bad at setting up this camera angle. I'll get better. One day I'll get better. So yeah, it's kind of working. But as you can see, I did put too much paint on. But I digress, because that's not really what I'm working on today. I just found them while I was looking for stuff, so had to have a go. So what I need to do with the base of the lamp, and you have to be sure that it's either new, your project is new, or safe and within standards within France, which is a little different to other parts of the world. So you have to ensure that you have, you start with a good base. To create anything really, it needs to be cool, good condition. So what I'm basically doing is I'm going to be, I think Chanel's just, or our resident ghost has just arrived and opened the door. But I'm going to be taping up so that when I paint this, which I'm going to make gold, because I love the gold accents on the shade and the actual lamp that has that in it. So I'm going to be covering up the places that I don't want to have gold on them, and just taping them up so that it's, we don't get that overspray, which you don't really want. I'm just using a gold spray paint which comes in a can at one of the cheap art and craft shops. Just thought I'd show you my improvised setup here, because my tripod is broken or borrowed. I'm not sure, I don't even know where it is. So just thought I'd show you. Hopefully that will get the right angle. Just about to start the second shade. Lordy. Before I do that, I actually just want to see, just for my sake, I sprayed these while I was out doing the lamp bases. And I just really would like to do this, so that maybe these two decor items would be perfect together. Although I'm not sure about a pink table setting. So now I've just changed this for what my original purpose was, but that's okay. Just go with the flow on the day. And today, these are just going to be pretty in pink, and not on a glamorous lunch table or dinner table. Oh, it's really nice. I like to have a lot of candles around, and I always have candles at a dinner table. Actually, I pretty much have candles going at all times when I'm doing something creative. Not today. I haven't even lit that one over there, but that's okay. It's just because I couldn't find the matches today. Can't find anything today. It's one of those days. So, which is a really good day to choose to do craft or art. Puts you in a better frame of mind, I think. Yeah, I kind of like that. So, sorry I got distracted, but that's what I do. I promise when you come to Le Parc Arts to enjoy, you can do your own thing, and if I'm teaching or providing a workshop, I'm not as distracted as this. It's just that in your own home, it's actually really hard to focus on it as a workplace, especially for me. I always had an office environment and worked in a really large organisation, so it was easy. You just went to work and went home. Well, it wasn't easy, by a long shot, but it was easier than working at home. A lot of my friends actually have worked from home forever, and that's just how their business is. But I could never discipline myself. I'd find that I did far more work. If I had it, normally would have like a 7.5 hour day or an 8 hour day. It actually turned into sometimes a 10-hour day, because I was at home and I could just keep working. Or it was really hard not to get up and put dinner on or really hard not to answer that phone call from a friend. And you ended up working so much later into the night and being on call 24/7 didn't help because you were always on, I guess. So I guess that's where my interest in crafting started. I've always tried to do a little bit, and actually had previously designed, really Lily was the inspiration, a lot of decor items for children's bedrooms. I did that when she was about 6, and it was really successful, and I sold a lot of it. But then work-life balance wasn't a thing, so my creativity had to take a second place, really. I mean, I didn't want to do it full-time at that point. My career was pretty full-on. Now, that's all I want to do. So hopefully, when the world heals and the park arts can get traction, we'll be up and away. Actually, I really like that. So I'll finish what I started first, which was this. But I do like it. I'll light a candle in it in a minute when it dries. So back to this process, which is pretty boring, so I won't stay with it too long. But always just make sure that most people would mask this, because that would ensure that you don't, get it on your gold trim, which really we want to keep intact so that we can feature it like that, because it's a nice part of that look. So that's obviously got to get another coat. As you can see, when I put it up to the light there, it actually can see the rough painting strokes. So we want it a little bit more professional than that. I guess I'm able to do this because I've been painting for years, and part of my learning and certainly my techniques when I paint is about brush control. So it is actually one of the things that is best to learn if you're a novice artist. It just helps you with being able to create the right look with a technique of... I studied a lot of different art forms, and actually I appreciate all. I'm not good at all. I'm not even that great at the one I've chosen to do, but art is just everything to me because I grew up with it. My father was an artist. He worked and was friends with quite a few... Oh, hello, Chanel. Can you not be visiting me while I'm working on the table? It's not cool, baby. I don't know. It was Chanel's fascination with jumping up when I've got it all covered up with craft. It's something to watch, actually. It's easy to get distracted when you're painting. If you're not using great brushes, they can drop hairs, so just something to be mindful of. Hi, Chanel. Excusez-moi, s'il vous plaît. Naughty little shart. Little shart sounds very much like something else. An Australian. But she's not. She's beautiful. Chanel, what are you doing, honey? Chanel? Are you tired? You want to go back out? She loves to go back out and spend her days, and if she can manage it, her nights in the woods. We have a woodland at the back of our property. It's not our woodland, thankfully, as I would struggle with, the chasse, which is the hunting season, just because it's a little bit disconcerting to hear gunshots, and I don't have a problem with people hunting for food. For sport, I actually don't like that. I think I know there are many other reasons in France that people hunt. I think there's something like per capita, there's far more. I'm trying to think of the English word for pigs. That's what's happening when you're transitioning into a new language, when you move countries. is you end up speaking sort of a combination of two languages. Or if you know more than two languages, you sort of get them all mixed up. And so I have a pretty good set of skills that really nobody can understand probably. I can read, write and understand French really well. But when it comes to speaking it, I'm a little bit intimidated, and I really don't want to insult the French people who we have met and made some really beautiful friends with, who are so tolerant with us because they teach us actually, and they're patient. Sometimes they laugh at us, which at first we were like, don't laugh at me, but now it's like it's really endearing actually that they tolerate our bad French, and I've never met people more willing to help or make you feel welcome. In the very short time that we had before lockdown here in France, we'd met, or we call her our angel actually, because she just introduced us to so many beautiful people here, beautiful French people. And in that short time, which was only like about a week or maybe two, that we were able to be out in any form, because our first lockdown was very serious and you had to have attestations to leave your property, and you could only travel 1 kilometre, and you couldn't, we didn't have a curfew as such. It was for the duration of every day, but you could only go out for medical reasons, emergencies, or emergency food supplies, really, it pretty much come down to. But in that very short time that we had freedom, this lady just arranged so many things and meeting, and some beautiful French people had us for lunch, and it was just quintessentially French. Every good thing that you hear about French, and they're loving to appreciate, take time to be together with their families. We met all of their families as well. Here in our village there are not very many English-speaking people, so we don't get to hear our native language very often, unless we speak to each other in English. We're trying not to do that more and more, so that we're immersed in the language. It's the most beautiful language, but very complex for us when we have to speak in genders and different phraseologies. Yesterday we were in the city and discovered an incredible archaeological site that's being maybe just discovered. I'm not sure if it's just discovered, but certainly the bones, and they're unearthing what's hidden there in between a couple of cathedrals. Looks like perhaps it may have been a burial ground at one point. I will actually do a video on that because it's so interesting, and we ended up spending many hours just peering through the little peepholes that we could see through and standing at the barricades, which the archaeologists didn't seem to have a problem with. I do have footage, but I won't share it just yet until I can find out that that's okay, because I haven't been able to find anything online because it was so interesting, and you could see entire skeletons, and they were unearthing bones as we were standing there. So extremely interesting history. One thing we love about living here is that every day you find something, and you just go down this rabbit hole where you have to go and find out, where that chateau started, or what family it is, or what particular type of architecture it is. There's so much. You could just be totally consumed by the history in all of Europe, I'm sure, but in particular in France. The whole cultural vibe it's actually incredibly reassuring, really. I think to be born French must be the most incredible thing, because you really are part of the culture and their government and their legal system, and their everything about the place is sort of it's really inclusive for French people, almost protective. I guess that's the liberté, fraternité and actualité, which is part of their culture. It's beautiful. So I finally got the beading untangled. That was a challenge. So now what I have to do, and I'm choosing to put it on inside because it will be neater, I have to take the time to attach like that. And then I'll come back and show you how, it's just a glue gun, really. Everything's done with a glue gun. Attach the silk flowers, silk velvet flowers. So it should be pretty. There's been quite a bit of bad language, so I've just not showed you that. But basically all you're doing is attaching the beading, which very conveniently comes on a silk ribbon, and which makes it easier to, or theoretically easier to deal with the beading. It's actually a little bit tricky because the beads actually get caught up in the glue, so you have to take your time and practice patience to make sure that the beads don't get stuck up in the incredibly hot glue. So pretty much, if I can do this, absolutely anyone on the planet, including my cat, can do it, because I'm just not good at it. But hopefully this will end up a thing of beauty and everything will be fine. Sometimes I don't know why I do take on such challenges. Glue is really hot, so a little word of warning. Remember that. It's something I forget every 5 seconds, so it's a little bit painful. I'm not normally this inept, but I actually just stuck that to my scissors, so oof. So yeah, it's actually looking a bit cute. Surprise, surprise. I'm happy with the beading, which basically just ended up being a gluing on the inside. So pretty simple to do, as it turns out. And then now with the silk flowers, I like to always see anything, don't really love to have anything fake in my space, I guess, particularly my creative space. But these flowers are truly so beautiful. I actually don't mind having them around me. It really makes me remember, you know, that it's okay to have things not just perfect. So just play around with it. I actually tied those two together like that. I'll be trimming that up so that you don't see this little thing, and most likely I'll glue it like so. Maybe I'll just play around, see what I'm happy with, see what I like the look of the best, and make sure that the leaves and petals are actually open. So it truly is very pretty. I think I would happily like to have that in my bedroom. Oh, anyway, really. Particularly as I have two, it'd be nice on bedside tables. So we'll see how we go. I will come back with the final reveal, I guess. So here is the finished product. Actually quite happy with it, despite having third-degree burns and all sorts of catastrophe that I couldn't share the footage of because of my bad language, because I really did burn the heck out of my hands. Yeah, but actually I'm really happy with them, because this was, these lamps were actually inspired by a recent trip to Paris, where I walked past this Artisan designer shop. It was a home decor shop, and everything was closed, but I was rushing home to make curfew one evening, and he was sitting under under this sort of light in his beautiful little studio shop in the first arrondissement, which felt like it might have been there for hundreds of years. It was just beautiful, and everything in it was like he was handcrafting everything that was for sale in the store. And I actually really loved the look of his lamp, and the fact that he had more than likely handcrafted it, because he was designing stuff, and he had all these drawings and his creative stuff around him. It just like, I wished I could have gone in and spoken to him next time maybe. So despite all of the bad language and third-degree burns, I managed to get a